Oh my god, we did so many things in this course, from reading to building to making arguments with classmates.
We get to have pre-readings, we read, we come, we have a conversation, and then we play several games and see how those lessons that we've been reading portrayed in those games.
It really surprised me with how grounded in reality the course is.
Every week I'm introduced to new concepts that I'm not familiar with. I'm learning so much about equality, equity, social welfare and climate change.
This was one of the courses that I was making sure that I was actually on top of my readings for every class. The reason being that we had a discussion during the class itself, and the fact that we were using those to work with our board games.
There's been a lot of fiction that's been involved in the reading list, and reading fiction has made it easier to digest all of the non-fiction papers and everything else that we've been learning.
Making a game compared to the essay is a super interactive activity which really provoke and nudge us to think in a more detailed way.
These are not just board games. There's a concrete thought behind it, and it stimulates a lot of thinking in you. That very moment where your mind just flips, it stayed with me, and probably it will stay with me for a long time.
It allows each of us to put ourselves into the shoes of different perspectives that we might not naturally gravitate towards.
The board game is encouraging you to think on a macro scale about systemic change and how we can leverage policy to enact that, and that is an enormous challenge that requires a lot of creative thinking. So it's definitely pushing me to think outside of the box.
It gives you the freedom to think outside the box, like you don't have to be limited. And when we played a particular game, we get to hack it. That's like teaching you that, okay, things are like this, but how can we do it differently? I really liked that part.
Creating a game is way more interesting than just writing a plain essay because it makes the material stick.
I did not expect it to be this challenging. It requires so much creativity to come up with a board game that is playable and to connect the readings and what we have learned so far with our board game is a challenge by itself, but this is what makes it interesting.
The magic really happens as conversations go on between the different members of the team, how your ideas start coming closer and closer to something really unique. It's really been a wonderful experience.
I've been able to engage with text, the reading material here, much more than any other subject, because I know that I need to translate it into some game mechanic.
That was like something I would store on my core memory.
It gave us a hope in a lot of ways.
Making this game helped me to think about how can we make the better world.
It has really challenged me to think about, okay, this is the status quo, but how can it be different?
This course has really been one of my most difficult, and I'm happy that I picked it in the first place.
I have really enjoyed this course. This has been my favorite course.
We are thinking actually of implementing those ideas that we learn here in our real world social movements that I'm a part of.
It's definitely been very challenging, but I think that's been a really useful thing and will be very helpful for moving out of university into the real world and actually going to tackle these problems head on.
If I look back on my time in LSE 20 years from now, this will definitely be one of the first things that come up to my mind. Not only because it's different and new, but I actually got to learn so much from it.